Hey guys, welcome to Real Scope in Real Estate. I am super excited. This is our first episode, and I want to let you know why I started Real Scope podcast. The reason why is because I believe buyers, sellers, you guys need to hear the behind the scenes of what realtors are really thinking and what, we go through. And not only that, just touching on what our buyers have told us that they go through, and sellers, what they go through, and even down to our renters and what they feel, right? So I want to give you some realness on our side of the scope and see if there's anything that sticks out to you that can help you in your home purchase, your home sell, and just understanding the process in real estate. So welcome to the Real Scope in Real Estate. Hey guys, welcome to Real Scope in Real Estate. I am Tashea McDougald. I am the team leader of the Tashea McDougald Team. And what's super dope is that we are licensed in a couple of states, but we have connections in all states. I cover New York, Maryland, and Virginia. I have team members on the team that cover North Carolina, Richmond. We cover all of Maryland, all of Northern Virginia. So we are here for you. And we have connections of agents that are top notch in every state. So if you're in a state and you're tuning into this podcast, do not hesitate to reach out to us so we can connect you. Okay, let's get started. So today, guys, I want to talk about buyers and buyers' remorse and what that means. So when you guys contact the Tashea McDougald Team, the first thing we're going to do is have a buyer's consultation. So any agent that you come across, you need to make sure you are having that consultation. And this is why. In the consultation, we go over the process. How important is it for you to sit down and discuss the process in buying one of the largest purchases in your life? How important is that? I think very important. But so many agents, they don't do that. They won't take you through the process of and the steps in purchasing a home. And maybe it's because it takes time, right? Who knows? But we make sure we sit down and we go over each process. And we like to make sure we do that because the last thing we want to do is show you a home, you want the home, and then throw on you, hey, by the way, you need to pay for home inspection right now. Hey, by the way, we need an earnest money deposit of at least 1% of your purchase price. And you're in the middle of, I'm ready to put in an offer, and I didn't know I needed this. So that's an uncomfortable feeling that we don't put you in. So we have the buyer process in the consultation. After that, if you haven't connected to a lender, we make sure we connect you to our preferred lender. So let's talk about after you're connected to our preferred lender, which, guys, sometimes I recommend you listen to your realtor because your realtor has had the experience of working with different lenders. And the lender is a key person to either make or break the transaction. And why is because if you have a lender that takes some information from you and gives you that pre-qualification versus that pre-approval, where in the pre-qualification phase, they look over just the general things, what you tell them your debt is and your income is, and they might pull your credit score at that process. And then after that, they say, oh, you're pre-qualified for this amount. A pre-approval is where they go a little deeper and they take it all the way sometimes to underwriting, which helps because we're going to know from the onset if they say you're pre-approved for this amount and they've checked all of your pay stubs, all of your tax returns, they have checked your credit score, they've outlined your debt, they have your debt to income ratio, everything is clear, concise, and on point, they give you a pre-approved amount, we know that we're good, that we're now going to have this pre-approved amount and be able to take this on to the next steps of your loan process. The pre-qualification kind of just puts it up in the air where we're not fully checked. And if we go and put in an offer and we get accepted and we are moving forward to purchasing a house, we might reach some hiccups during that time. You feel me? So it's always good to make sure we have a lender that makes the steps and the process in the beginning, so that way we don't have hiccups once we're already in a contract. So back to trusting your realtor and your realtor's preferred people. My preferred lender, I've been through enough lenders to where I know if this lender does that full check of my buyer's paperwork, to where when we go, the process will be smooth and we'll see it all the way through. I've had lenders that will give us hiccups right like 2 weeks to a week before closing. And I've had lenders that weren't great in communication, wasn't helping the buyers understand numbers and closing costs and, how much their monthly would be and why, not really explaining that process to them, and kind of being unfriendly, you know? So when we're saying our preferred lender, it's because we vetted all that they do. Got it? So make sure, don't rush and jump to your local bank just because they're right there. Sometimes, listening to what your realtor says as to why they recommend a lender is important. So as far as the Tashea McDougald team, we make sure that we vet our lenders on communication, paperwork turnaround, thoroughness of the process, making sure that they move like we do, because we're a team. Not only is the Tashea McDougald team the agents, the Tashea McDougald team are the lenders, the title companies, the home inspectors, the home warranty company, right? That makes up our whole real estate team. So now we're off of preferred lenders, so you get pre-approved. The next step in the process, guys, when we do our consult, we make sure we go over the needs analysis. And what that is sitting down with you and just discussing your needs. What are your needs? What is it that you need? And that can be, I need 2-3 bedrooms. That can be, I need 2 bathrooms, no less. I need a bigger yard for my dog to play and the kids to play. I need location, right? Location has to be on point. What else? Anything that you guys can think of that you really need. And then we will touch on your wants. And as we go over those wants, the wants may be, I want a house that's just open. I want a house that has stainless steel appliances. I want a house that's updated. I want a house with updated light fixtures, right? So these are different wants. I want a pool. I don't need a pool, but I want a pool. And we like to hear both, but we also like to set the expectation that sometimes we can find you a house with enough space to build a pool, or where you can add a pool later. If everything else checks the box, we don't set the expectation that we only need to look for houses with pools. Follow me? So after we go through that, we have that checked off. And the reason why we do that is because we don't want to waste your time, but we also don't want to waste our time. Just keeping it real. So I'll give you an example of this week's buyers for me. So it was just this week buyer. There was only one buyer this week, and it's perfect timing, which is why I said, you know what? This episode today is going to be about buyer's remorse. So we went through everything with the process of the buyer. This buyer, totally excited, totally happy. She is coming from renting, where utilities was all included in her condo unit. The monthly payments are somewhat still the same that she was paying in rent. So it's not going to be a big difference on the mortgage payment and the rent payment, which is cool. However, she now needs to add in separate utilities. She now needs to add in, there might be an HOA, right? And the HOA is if you purchase in a subdivision, like the HOA fee will be included in that subdivision. So those are some additions now as a homeowner you have to take into account, because now you're no longer renting and you are the only one that can depend on you. You can't call up a landlord anymore when you press that go button to purchase your home and be a homeowner. It's now on you to repair anything that needs fixing. So we go shopping. We got her pre-approval, super excited. We're seeing a couple of homes. And at the Tashea McDougald team, we don't have limits, don't get me wrong. We're not, saying, hey, we're only showing you 3. No, 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 no. If you see 10 houses that fit every criteria we went over, we will gladly show you those 10 homes. But we do expect you to put an offer in on at least one, right? We're showing you 10. And we're making sure it fits your needs analysis. And hopefully it has some of those wants. That's great. But the goal is to not waste your time and not waste ours, right? So as sometimes I think that consumers, they don't realize, that we are, as realtors, working to help and working to serve and working extremely hard up front before getting paid, right? This is one of those jobs where you work, 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 and you sometimes don't see a paycheck until, one, we don't get paid till you guys close, but two, sometimes that could take 30, 60 days, right? So we put forth so much effort and time and love in the process that all we expect is not to be taken advantage of when it comes to our time. It's to be, have set the expectation and just be respected when it comes to time. So I showed her houses this week. I showed her about, I want to say it was 8 houses. Yep, it was 8 houses. And out of those 8, she liked 4. And out of the 4, I told her to number them for me. As we were going through the 8, we love to prepare you guys when we go for showings. We love to set, and prepare the atmosphere of having a checklist, a book. We give you a nice book and a pen, and we have you make notes at each home. What is it you did like? What is it you didn't like? And what number would you rate this house? So our clients love that, because I know that seeing more than 2 homes, you're going to forget. You're going to forget what you just saw. So it's important that you are prepared in that way. So that way you can make the notes and you can kind of reflect on what it was you saw. Our clients also take videos so that way they can remember the house, because when you see more than 2, you're going to go blank, right? So she liked the 4, and out of the 4, I told her to number them, and she was like, "This is my number 1. Oh my gosh, this is my number 1. This is my number 2. This is my number 3, and this is the 4th. I'm okay. This will be the 4th." So I'm like, "Okay, great. So we're gonna put an offer in on a number 1." She said, "Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited." Now, guys, it's also important to know the market. So we do a reality check before we go out and house shop. The team, we go over a reality check with you guys as the buyer. And what that is just letting you know where we are in this market, how realistic it is when we're placing offers, and what we should and should not expect in this market. So it's October 2022. The buyer's market it has softened up. We don't need to go overpriced on a listing. We don't need to waive inspection. We don't need to waive appraisal, and we don't need to avoid asking for closing help from the seller. So that's great for buyers, guys. Right now, it is back to where it is your time to um, to place that offer and be okay and comfortable. Just a little while ago, it wasn't like that. There was lots of offers on the table. It was competition. People were coming out cash over the asking price. It was crazy, but super excited. Right now is a great time to buy. It is a great time to buy. So I'm preparing the offer for offer one, and she's super excited. She goes home. I'm preparing the offer. Mind you, in preparing the offer, our sales contract for Northern Virginia is about, I want to say 13 pages. It's a lot of pages. Okay. And in that, you have the contract with all of these pages that we complete line by line, making sure it's completed right. So we take our time, we pull up the tax record, we pull up the MLS listing, we prepare the contract. Then on top of the contract, you have to add addendums. So if we're going to do a home inspection, you got to pull in that 2 to 3 page home inspection addendum. If you're doing financing, you have to pull in a financing addendum. If there's any other terms, you have to pull in a blank addendum to write in those terms. The appraisal is going to be in there. We need to attach any disclosures that the seller's agent might have put on the MLS. So I say all of this to say that it takes preparation in preparing your offer, right? That's the back end, because not a lot of people understand that that takes time for us, right? So imagine I just showed her 8 homes. I run home. It's now about 6 something. I get home, greet my kids, greet my wife. I get to my computer table. I start preparing. So whole day, get home, go straight to work. I then call the buyer and I say, hey, offer's prepared. Let's get on Zoom and let's go over each part so you understand what you're about to sign. I've already called the listing agent on my way back home to confirm, hey, do you have any offers? How strong do we have to come in at? So I want to know, do you have any offers in hand? What is the seller desire? You know, and in that the seller can need post occupancy where they need to stay in the house a few days after closing. The seller might have a desire for a closing date. So I do my due diligence in that on the drive home. So I already know where we need to be on the offer price and all of what it is the buyer wants to make a great offer, because we make sure we prepare offers to win, not just prepare an offer based on, all right, let me just go ahead and put these numbers in, or let me just, this is what the buyer wants, let's just do it. We like to recommend and advise. So we like to do a CMA where we're checking the comps around that house. Are they listed in the right price, right? We like to make sure that, we educate you, the buyer, in how we're placing that offer, right? Not just, oh, I want to offer 10,000 less just because, or I want to offer, 20,000 less, or let's just go ahead and offer purchase the list price. So we just want to be strategic about what we do. So we educate you guys in making sure you understand why this offer is being prepared this way for you to win, right? So, okay, call the buyer and I said, hey, I'm ready to, go over the offer with you step by step. Let's jump on the Zoom. And I just sent it to your email. Let's go over it. So she was a little quiet, and I was like, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" And she said, "Well, when I got home, I spoke to my mom and my dad, and they said that I probably should look at some more before making this decision. And I think that maybe I should wait. Maybe I should wait and look at some more because more might come. And, yeah." But it was so crazy because I can tell now the buyer's remorse, right? She's pulling back, she's having doubts. That's what buyer's remorse is, right? It's not only that, but it was the influence of now her mom and dad. And I was like, well, what do you think you need to wait on? Right? Um, like you love this home. This home has everything you wanted and needed. It had everything. This is your number one. What else do you think we'll find later? And she said, "I don't know. They just said I should see more." I said, "I understand." So do you guys see how outside people can like influence your decision to move forward in the right way, in the right step, and to just make your decision like they can just make your decision go down, to just make that left turn, right? So it's important. And what I took from that, and I'll tell you guys what ended up happening. But it's important that we don't allow the outside noise to influence us, in making the decision that we desire. Mind you, her parents still rent. Her parents don't desire to own. They're actually fearful. They actually fear ownership. So with all of that, of course, of course, they're going to lead her in their direction of their fear, of what they're not doing, right? So you guys be careful of that. Be careful of sharing your plans when it's plans outside of other people's comfortable state, right? Just be careful. Be careful of that. And how much people can influence your decisions and how that can make or break, your growth. This girl is pre-approved. She's ready. The monthly amount doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the responsibility of my utilities won't be included anymore. And I might need to start saving some cushions for emergencies on repairs of my own home, right? Once you pass that, and she was okay with that, she said, "I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it." So it's not like she wasn't ready. It's not like she wasn't excited. It's just as soon as she got home after we finished seeing the homes, and I can just imagine. I feel so bad because I can just imagine how excited she was when she got home, and then they just shut that down. And they just said, "No, keep looking." Right? So guys, be careful of that. Be careful of it. So buyer's remorse. So she's having doubts. She's pulling back. She's like, "I'm not sure, Tashea. I just don't know." So I was like, okay, if this is not something you want to move forward on, it's fine. At the end of the day, this is your choice. This is your home. This is your decision. So I'm not one to push. I'm not going to push you guys to purchase a home. I'm going to educate you onto why it's important that you build this wealth and build this opportunity in being a homeowner versus wasting money on rent every month and not having anything to show for it when your year lease is up. And then you find yourself renting 10 years, 14 years down the line, wasting over thousands of dollars every year, making your landlord rich, okay, when you could have made yourself just as rich. You could have done paid off your house by now. So I'm not going to push anyone to purchase. My job is just to educate you and represent you and make sure you're good, right? Make sure that you're happy and we keep it pushing, right? So let's go back to her. So super excited though, because what happened was I said it's your decision and I just want you to be okay with whatever decision you make. So she said, okay, Tashea, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And she said, I'm going to sleep on it and I'll call you in the morning. I said, okay, sounds good. So she slept on it. And as for me, yes, if she did not decide to go through with it, it wasted a lot of my time. I showed you 8 homes, which is a lot. Okay. A lot of traveling, a lot of gas spent, a lot of time away from my family. I rush home. I don't tend to my family. I go straight to the computer and I begin preparing an offer, only to find out that now we're not going through. That really is upsetting. Wouldn't that upset you guys? Okay. So it's now like, I want to say it was maybe about close to 8. So we hang up and I now try to tend to whatever is left with what everybody is doing, right? And I'm like, okay, wake up in the morning, go on to the next day, the next client, the next life event, right? Being a realtor, each day is different. So she calls me and she's like, Tashea, I decided I can't let them continue to dictate my path. She said, Tashea, they have kept me into renting and scared to move forward. I'm ready to buy. Let's go. So I was super excited, guys. She decided to put that offer in. I called, we went over the offer, of course. I called the listing agent to see if anything changed from the night before, and nothing changed. We still had no offers in hand. We did win the offer. Yes, we won the offer. She is in the process of doing her home inspection. She's still excited. My goal is to keep her excited because I know that this choice that she's making is a good one. So my goal as a realtor is to keep her excited, keep her educated through the process and calm, because buyers, it's scary. This process, I understand. It's scary. You're buying your first home. It's okay to be scared. The goal is to not give up in that scaredness, in that fear, to keep pushing forward. Go for that house, get that house, right? And understand that some things you can't share with everyone. Some things you just need to pop up on them. You need to say, hey guys, I just bought a house and it's already done. That's when you bring them in. Be careful about bringing people in during your process because they can try to deter you because of their fear. So, guys, super excited about Real Scope. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. There is so much more to come. I will check you later. Bye.